The following is rated M for mature.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Greetings, my fellow Blockade runners, to another communication report. I still have many emails to try and get through, so let's just dive right in.
Mail, motherfucker!
Our first email comes from Victor Darkness. He writes, CR91, so why do you think SWTOR throws these obvious filler updates at us? They know they are fillers, we know, and they know we know. This is apparent by the fact that they stopped the discussion link at the end of them. I understand this as they get hit pretty hard when they do this. They have so much they could do with these updates, so much info that people really want. It's kind of the same as the NDA that has yet to be lifted. Why all the hush-hush about everything? What are they afraid of? On a side note, I never thought I would be so thankful to hear negative things on SWTOR. But I stand in the same place as you. I love Star Wars and have been longing for this game for years, but find myself uneasy with the way a lot has been handled with its development. I greatly respect and admire what you are doing. Keep up the good work. Well, Victor, I agree that things are very hush-hush, and I do have a few ideas why. In the beginning, I thought it was mainly due to their competition with WoW. It could also be that they are running out of things to show for Friday updates. We all know there is plenty of things they could throw up there, but they have stated that they don't want to show anything until they are completely positive that it's done. But if that is the case, then there is a lot that is not done. Which is odd, since at E3 this year, they were gloating that the game is done and that they are now just polishing. But to be fair, some updates are worth more to different people. My master, for example, loved the update they had about how they built the walls in the game. Since he is in school now for a degree in game art, he really could appreciate it. But many people thought it was crap. And they had full right to think that. Most gamers don't give a damn how it's built, just that they cannot run through it. The only other reason I could think of is that they simply are not proud of their product. That is not exactly a bad thing, but it can lead to disaster. Many artists can be known as perfectionists. They could have a really good piece of art in front of them, but they themselves will think it's not good enough to be shown. So they have to keep tinkering. What is the true reason they are doing it? Who knows? But I agree that it has been getting frustrating for everyone. Our next email is from Sly William. He writes, Dear Sir, I love your show and am glad I stumbled upon it, as I was kind of caught up in the hype before I found the show. I would love to become a regular emailer for the show and will email you thoughts and questions. For now, here is my thought. It seems to me that BioWare has been focusing on the Jedi, Troopers, and Sith characters more than the other professions. In the case of the smuggler, he got a class video and that was about it. It was just, cool, I can take cover and kick someone in the nuts, yay. I think BioWare should provide some more info on classes. Well, Sly William, I am sure you know that this past Friday you got your wish. The new smuggler video was finally released. But to touch on what you said, I know there is a reason why they have not released so much. Ever since the classes were announced, there has been a huge debate about how a smuggler could fare against the Jedi. So BioWare, I am sure, has been very careful about balancing these classes. And honestly, there has been so many games out there that have had Jedi characters, that I am pretty certain it wasn't hard making the Force-sensitive classes. So I can understand why it is taking so long. Especially for the Imperial Agent. That is the only class that is truly unique, so no wonder it is the last to get any information. I know it is frustrating, I really do. But I would rather them spend more time on the non-force users to make the game seems more balanced. Our next email is from the Phantom Squad leader of Imperial Army, Bastion. He writes, I've enjoyed the show so far. I do have a couple of questions. What do you think of the upcoming battle between Guild Wars 2 and Old Republic? Tim Buckley from Control-Alt-Delete made a recent blog post on their main site that he prefers Guild Wars 2 over the Old Republic. And it seems out of the MMO community that is ready to leave WoW, that they are divided between the Old Republic and Guild Wars 2, with seemingly Guild Wars 2 taking a slight lead. Do you think between these two games that the major MMO market will be split even further, or do you believe one of these will cancel the other out as the main competition for WoW? The other question I had was about PAX. I believe most of the community agrees that PAX Prime was a letdown. They made all this hype and didn't deliver. What made things worse was a tweet by Stephen Raid on his Twitter on August 18th. The tweet goes as follows. Steaming Pirate tweets, it's like 12 days before the big beta weekends. Weren't we supposed to know the release date by then? Where is the big announcement? Stephen Reeds responded by tweeting, sounds like we have 12 days to make the announcement then. But thanks for the reminder. Bastion continues by saying, it seems the BioWare devs want to build up all this hype about the game, and not deliver any information, or want us to give money without giving any information. My question is, do you think BioWare is hurting the faith that fans have in them? By building up so much hype, alluding that they will release something big, like they promised at PAX, and then give us nothing? Well, Bastion, I have to admit that I have not followed the info on Guild Wars 2 as closely as SWTOR. So I can't really say with any certainty what will happen. But I know GW2 has a huge following. So will it compete? I would think so, yes. Especially since it's a pretty nice looking free-to-play model. I personally know someone whose friend is actually developing the game. And he has said that they are taking really great care with it. But honestly, I hope all three do really well. If they can all be competitors with each other, then it will be better for everyone. As for that tweet, I did not get to see that either. But that is yet another reason I signed up for Twitter, so I can maybe see more of these things that are said as well. The way BioWare has encased their language with riddles and uncertainty, who knows what he actually meant by that. But I can agree with you about the hype. Although, it's not BioWare that is truly guilty for it. It is us. The fans. The community sites that are out there preaching nothing but sunshine and positivity towards every single event. Then every fan will say something like, oh, this is gonna be the one. We get ourselves so worked up and then, boom, a huge letdown. That is one of the main reasons that I started this show. We need to be prepared, just in case SWTOR is just a good game. It might not be a great, superb, or perfect game. Will it be fun for most? Sure. But everyone out there is thinking it's gonna be the be-all and all MMO. And if it is not, BioWare will lose more players after launch, simply because the expectations are too high. But BioWare is not helping the situation, you were right. Our next email comes from Charles. He writes, hey, love the videos, easily the best SWTOR community videos I've seen yet. I was wondering what your opinion is on how PvP balancing seems to be progressing. I'm mainly referring to the videos that came out of PAX and Gamescom, showing the Elder on Warzone. It looked to me that ranged characters such as commandos and bounty hunters really cleaned house. There is one video from Cynical Brit where he is playing as a commando, playing rather smart, and with some degree of skill, which may account for it, is just raping a marauder over and over again. The melee classes look terrible in most of these videos, just running after ranged targets, wildly swinging their lightsabers getting slaughtered. It's made me feel that the cinematic combat, at least for melee classes, looks horrible in a PvP setting. Just wondering how you feel on the subject. Well, Charles, I know exactly what video you were talking about. And yes, he was cleaning house. I don't think anyone can say with any certainty just how good it's going. Unless you're in testing. But I look at those videos with a logical lens. All these videos of PvP that comes out of these events are full of people who had the initial 1 to 3 minutes to look over their talents that they have not seen before. And who knows how experienced they have been before in PvP, or MMOs in general. But if you took an unexperienced ranged class versus an unexperienced melee class, I would bet on the ranged any day. As long as they can stay away and still cast their attacks, then they have the advantage. So that could be why the melee classes look very weak. Our next email is from Divine Eye. He writes, I read Stephen Reed's message about game phasing, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. In his statement he said, what you call phasing, we call instancing. What that means to us is, we create copies of planets when they become too full. Now, is it just me or is this fishy? Everyone remembers games that used phasing: Guild Wars, Rift, Aeon, Star Trek, EverQuest 2, Champions Online, even WoW phased. But what does phasing do to the community of the game? Much less the open world PvP? Star Wars Galaxies didn't phase, and it is remembered for being one of the most social games ever made. Vanilla WoW produced some of the most entertaining world PvP videos that utterly captured my attention. Whatever happened to the good old-fashioned healthy competition? How does Bauer expect to make a game based on story and limit players to shards? What happens to open-world PvP when players can simply escape to another instance of the server? Does the term PvP server mean anything anymore? Or is today's MMO market solely geared toward kids who cry if they can't find the mobs they need for the quest they are on? Well, Divine Eye, I can share your worry about this situation. But Stephen Reed did also say that, we expect instancing to happen, especially during launch when a lot of people are crammed onto the early planets. However, we also expect over time, as people begin to spread out over the galaxy, instancing will happen less. Now, I can completely understand both sides. On one hand, when the game launches, I don't want to spend an hour doing one mission, because everyone steals my kill over and over. On the other hand, sharding does make me nervous. The last thing I want is to try and log on with a few friends and have to spend time trying to figure out how to quest together on the same shard, since we all automatically got separated. But the real question is, will they have enough servers for everyone to space themselves out? I know they are mainly doing this because they want launch to go smoothly, and not have super lag spikes because too many people are in one area. But they also must worry about it going smoothly with the players themselves. They might be concentrating too much on the technical side, when this instancing solution might lead to more frustrated players. This issue really is a double-edged sword. But I think it will be more of a launch issue, not a long-term social issue. If they use sharding months after the game is released, then yes, I will feel the same way you do, sir. The community needs to stay in view in order for it to be a community. In my personal opinion, I would have voted no on instancing. But that is just me. I want the more realistic experience. Now it is time to spotlight a few of our community members. First up is a comic from a user named KF7AGS. Good stuff. Next is from Simon. Himself and a few friends write and compose their own music. I will play a 30-second clip and add a link to their page in the video description. Be warned, some songs are even dirtier than I am. So make sure you have headphones on if the kiddies are within earshot.
I need your warm blanket, but if I stink it, don't fake it, girl. You know you love it, girl. I need your warm blanket. Don't hold me from my sexy time. I'm gonna make you mine.
Very nice.
High five. Rape is dead. Done.
Done.
Regardless if you like the lyrics, you have to admit, they have some real talent. Keep it up, guys. In closing, I hope everyone has enjoyed this Pure Communication Report episode. I am almost through the main chunk of emails from our subscriber boom. Until next time, this is CR91, signing off.